Hi, Tim. Just kidding. So this Tim might watch this. We don't know. This I'm recording this specifically because of the work that I put into the court case, regardless of whether or not I get to use any of it. Uh, uh, we are here because one of our guild mates, Fire the Argh, started a fight with the Boris Legion, and so now I am here helping defend him in his time of need. That's it.
Hi, everyone. Your judge is Judge Ahosa. She's in the front of the courtroom, and she has been standing from the moment you walked in. She sits and rises her head as high as it'll allow it to go in the ceiling and states, "Please be seated. Let us begin."
Sorry, is it a low ceiling in here? Like,
It's a high ceiling. It's a fairly high ceiling, but she's also huge. So,
okay.
Which leaves some questions on how she got in here in the first place.
Yeah. She just lives in here. Do you not see her bowls over here?
Yeah, her bowl
and her potty is over there.
Guilty parties are fed to Ahosa.
Oh, well,
there's that
you
really
know what?
large window in the back.
You know what? Knowing Argh, that might be how he wants to go. Let's be real. So
he died the way any Fire the Argh would want, being consumed by a large flying creature.
Bring in the vat of oil and the secret herbs and spices.
Kentucky Fried Argh.
Also waits for everybody to sit. Unless any of you, I was gonna say, if any of you decide you're not going to, everybody else in the court sits, save for the guards. They do not.
Rude.
You're here for the trial of Fire the Argh, facing charges of violating the Public Peace and Order Act, specifically engaging in public endangerment, initiating a physically violent incident, and interfering with official law enforcement efforts. How does the defense plead?
Technically guilty.
Is that the actual legal plea, or are they gonna say it?
No, I think the whole plan was always to be like, yeah, he fucking did it. Like, we're not arguing that he did it or didn't do it, because he did in fact start some shit.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to validate the reasons behind it and alleviate the sentence. And possibly
that case might not take as long as we expected.
I just don't want to be like, yeah, he's guilty, and they're like, oh, okay, click.
Well, yeah, I mean, I assume
in the Azorius Senate, sentencing and like determination of guilt and sentencing are done in the same hearing. So, there's different levels of guilty. There's guilty but, and then there's guilty and.
Okay. So I guess we plead guilty but.
You're pleading guilty but, basically.
Yep. Typical Argh with his guilty but.
First, she turns to the prosecution. Please stand and state your full name. Brom stands, states his name, sits back down. The angel says nothing.
I'll just do this over my shoulder.
The angel does nothing. They're not expected to. They're a little bit different. They don't participate in the same way that others do.
Mm-hmm.
Then it comes to the defense. Please stand and state your full name.
I think this is where we give me the actual middle name finally, because I like the idea last time that. Hold on, I have to copy and paste it because I'm lazy.
Can't be pronounced by your mortal tongue.
Well, you need a beak.
You need to have a beak.
You said the defense, not the defendant, right?
The defense, right?
Okay,
the
that's what I thought. Sorry, you said stuff with beaks. And I was like, wait, well, Salem did. Well, you're the same person.
Yeah.
So, so you technically did. You said beaks. I'm like, wait, he's not saying it. I will stand. It's like, I am Perrin Aradel Nalo.
Quick aside, Terror glances over at Paradel and is like, Really?
You think that's bad? Remind me again, what the hell is my middle name?
Eladamri.
Eladamri. Which I'll just whisper, you think that's bad? Mine's Eladamri.
Oh, that's pretty. Shh.
It's probably
Super
pronounced like
no, it's not.
it's probably pronounced like Oradell because I mean it's Auridel, so it's probably like Oradell, not Aradell. I don't know.
Out of it.
I'm not a linguist. I'm making shit up.
But you are cunning.
Oh, wicked,
Wicked cannon.
wicked fucking cunning there, Bob.
The
Sorry.
Hosa nods. I understand that you are not native to Ravnica. What is the nature of your presence on this plane?
We were.
But just while he's answering, I'm not interrupting the Senate, but I'm just cutting a fucking nasty look at Terror. Like, yeah, why are we here?
The majority of my guild was sent here against our will. Sorry, there was a period at the end of that, not like a. How I said it sounded like I was going to continue, but I meant to say it as a period, not as a comma.
And Perrin, what is your relationship to the accused?
I am his guildmaster, crew member, and friend.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Sit down.
We will now hear opening statements. We will start with the prosecution, and then the defense will have their opportunity to speak. The lawyer for the prosecution stands and says the following. Your Honor, the prosecution intends to present evidence and testimony confirming the defendant's actions in violation of the Public Peace and Order Act. We ask that you view the evidence of the incident and rule accordingly. This prosecution has full confidence that your wisdom will see through the actions of the accused for what they were and provide appropriate justice for this act. And then he sits.
I quietly want to hand him a toothbrush to get the boot polish out of his mouth.
Yeah, basically.
I don't do that. I want to.
Ahosa turns her attention. And the defense?
I will stand up. Your Honor, as I stated, my name is Perrin Aradel Nalo. I'm a 22-year-old half-elf from the Moonshae Isles, a collection of islands part of the continent of Faerun on the planet of Toril. I'm a devout cleric of the god of Mask, the Faerunian god of thieves. I've been obsessed with masks for the past 16 years and have worn a mask of some variation from the majority of that time. I've done this for many reasons, keeping my identity private as a sign of devotion to my god or because they add a certain mystique to my facade. I tell you this so you truly understand the significance of what I'm about to do, and I will take my mask off and put it down on the desk. I'm doing this to show you and the rest of the court that while I am a person who is sent to your lovely realm without my permission, that I'm willing to play by your rules and take this case seriously. I merely ask that whatever biases you may have for the outsiders who attacked your realm be placed aside and proper justice be carried out here today. And I will sit down.
Thank you, Perrin. There's no gasps or anything from the back row. Maybe Threech. Threech is like,
Paradel's like, fuck. Just didn't expect that. Also, finally gives me a minute to compare how different we actually look from one another at this point with all the scarring and fighting shit.
I mean, I probably have more scars considering how often I get hit.
Yeah. You're more cut and pockmarked. I'm covered in like electrical burns.
So they start by providing an opportunity for direct witnesses to speak. They're going to start with Brahm, who will testify that they were executing a lawful order of engagement against a group of Krenko's subordinates in accordance with the Boros dictates that they were given. He states that your collective interfered with the ongoing attempts to rein these folks in. And when they attempted to regain control of the situation, your he calls it your subordinate, but Fire the Argh, decided to engage violently with the Angel, leading into a fight between your group and theirs. The prosecution asks him a few basic questions going over exactly what I just told you. You know, this is the order of events. Did you draw weapons or attack the group prior to Fire the Argh attacking? The answer is no. And then he basically says, no further questions. It turns it over to you.
Oh, okay. A lot of my arguments go out the window now. So is this based on the charges themselves? I just want to make sure that we're clear.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's going to be two sections here. There's going to be like the incident itself, and then like other information.
Any statements and stuff?
Yeah, there will be statements and such.
Okay.
To
Because that's like everything I have is statements.
Yeah. No, this is to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that might help your case.
Okay. Who's on the? Is it Brom?
Brom. You're not required to ask questions if you don't want to.
No, I'm just trying to think of if there's anything I could kind of finagle into.
It was a long ass time ago. I thought they already had weapons drawn.
No. I would clarification, Your Honor. Will the Angel also be put up on the stand or wherever, or is it just Brom?
The Angel will serve as evidence.
Okay. Brom, how did the fight technically start?
He breaks it down a little bit. Again, he's as compelled to tell the truth as you are.
Mm-hmm.
So he can tell the truth to the best of his ability. To the best of his memory, and his memory is serving as my memory.
Mm-hmm.
There was a dispute between your party and their party regarding the mistreatment of the individuals that they were sent to collect for interrogation. And he doesn't recall exactly what was said, but there was some mention of there was some sort of comment that made them reposition in the event that you decided to attack. When they repositioned, the Angel flew, and immediately after landing, that's when Fire the Argh attacked her.
Okay. And according to the charges, which I assume we'll get to, it says that he initiated combat through physical assault. Is that what you remember?
Yes.
So could you be wrong?
He smiles. I highly doubt it, Mr. Nilo.
So the defendant could have attacked. You remember the defendant attacking through physical means.
Correct.
But he could, without you knowing, have attacked through magical means.
I suppose that's true.
No further questions.
The prosecution, no questions, and they take Brom off the stand. They only have one other witness, and they will be, it's going to be handled a little bit different. Brom brings the Angel to the center of the room, and they kneel to the ground, and they put their hands out like this, and they put their eyes up towards the ceiling, and they open their mouth. And a visual recreation of what happened there on the street begins to stream itself onto the ceiling. And before you know it, there's a 3D image of exactly how the Angel, from the Angel's eyes, from the moment they initially took off and landed on the other side of the group, until the time that they retreated plays out in its fullest, like in its entirety for the court to see.
Okay.
The angel stands and returns to their seat, and Brahm nods to the judge and returns to his seat.
Which me, Calvin, remembering it, Argh did not attack physically. He attacked magically because he cast dissonant whispers on the angel.
Is that going to be your argument?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's part of my argument.
I would also take the fact that it's flying directly over us and landing behind us as an aggressive action, personally.
But that's what happened, was Fire the Argh cast dissonant whispers on the angel. I think the intent was to make it run away or whatever. But
yeah,
so it would play out as him standing there saying some shit, magic happening to her id. And then they passed their saving throw, so they didn't run away, but it was still a magical attack and not a physical attack.
Okay. I like the semantic argument. It's very popular among the Azorius.
Also, does dissonant whispers just imposes a fear effect, doesn't it? It doesn't actually. Does it cause harm?
It does damage.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah,
damage.
that's not gonna. That's not.
Yeah,
gonna
no. That wasn't. Yeah, no,
I pick up on your. I pick up what you're putting down. I actually like that. Ahosa addresses you. Because the angel is unable to answer questions, do you have any questions you would like to ask to the court or to Brahm in general regarding what has been seen?
Well, I would have pointed out the fact that how the angel was attacked was not actually through physical assault, but magical assault.
Understood. So there are no other witnesses to take the stand in regards to on the Boros side for like the prosecution, but they do have witness testimonies that they will read into evidence. And they all basically say the same thing. And it's a recount. It's basically recounting the fact that the Boros were attempting to rein in several goblins. You showed up in defense of the goblins, and then there was a verbal altercation between you. And then when the angel repositioned behind your group, there was a physical altercation that broke out. There's not a lot of witnesses stating that, there's nothing much after the fight starts because a lot of people went unconscious. Some people ran. There is one witness testimony that was given anonymously that has since been thrown out due to lack of evidence to support it.
Testimony against us?
Against you.
Okay.
An anonymous testimony was submitted stating that that Fire the Argh was the one soldier that was killed by Fire the Argh. But even Brahm has stated that that's not true. So that piece of evidence
died was killed by a goblin. So.
That one piece of evidence has been thrown out for being inaccurate or unreliable. If you have anybody you'd like to call for witnesses,
Because I'm not a real lawyer, I didn't think of any.
Okay, I just figured I would give anybody the opportunity. Did you want to say anything? Because you can call Paradel. Was Paradel there? Or was it
no,
was not there.
Elkin was.
Elkin. Okay.
The only person who was there that was fifth.
Okay. I can't channel that level of chaos. So.
No, that's fine.
If we have no further witnesses, we will go over the evidence that has been submitted for review. They cite I'm going to call it the video evidence, but the angel's recount of what happened, the witness testimonies, and Ahosa. That's when Ahosa does say that she has personally dismissed one piece of evidence for being unreliable or being counter to what's being said by everyone else. One other thing that they do submit is a medical investigation of injuries, which correlate with the eyewitness reports of the incident. So what people did see lines up pretty closely with the investigation of medical injuries against the parties involved.
I realized I should have asked Brom about, him dying and then us bringing him back, but I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's and that's something, I know that you would have had that already.
Yeah, probably, if I remember.
And he will cop to that. He will actually say that he believed that he was going to die there, but at least one member of your party decided that he deserved to live, and brought him back to consciousness.
In my head, I'll say, well, he still has to finish growing up.
Still a little guy.
I can stabilize him because he's against murdering children.
So with all the evidence set here, you're given the opportunity to present any evidence you might have. If you don't, that's fine.
Once again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how the proper.
It's okay.
Like, I mean, would character witnesses be something we would?
That's the next part.
That's the butt after
with the evidence and the witness statements all in the records. Ahosa asks once again, would anyone like to change or alter their plea of guilty? Very well. We will now move on to character witness and testimony. Okay. This is your opportunity. This is what you're looking for is, this is your butt option.
Okay.
Where now you're able to, this is going to determine the severity of the punishment.
So just so I'm clear, this is where I would go through my main argument.
Mm-hmm.
Then
if your argument is in regards to the fight itself, that has to happen in the first part. If your argument is in regards to the character of Fire the Argh or the guild, or the benefit of having you and Fire the Argh on the plane, like if you're arguing character, that's what happens next. If you're arguing the case itself, that's what happens here. But with a guilty plea, all that's really going to determine is that yes, he's guilty of doing the things that he's being charged with.
Okay. I'm gonna read. I think I have one about the laws, and I think that probably might fit under. I don't know if that would fit under.
That would be this. If you're arguing the laws or the semantics or the status of the statute, that's this section. Is he guilty?
Part one.
Yeah, this is part one.
Okay. So I'm gonna do the two arguments I have for that, because I think that my third one would fit under, I think, character witnesses.
Okay.
Because that's kind of like what he's done, what we've done.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my argument against each of the specific charges, which I've already kind of brought up one of them. And then I have my closing. So as long as I get to go through all this, I'll be happy because I wrote it all down.
Okay. No, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, so the first part of my argument is that while we understand that ignorance of the law is no excuse, is valid, there is a certain level of unjustness in that precedence, considering that every citizen in your society is allowed to have all laws directly sent to their brains magically. As outsiders, we don't have that privilege, which means we're innately at a disadvantage, which seems like an unfair way to punish outsiders. While I understand that this isn't a great defense, my intent is for it to help overlook all of the minor laws that Fire the Argh may have committed due to specific societal idiosyncrasies that we would have no way of knowing about in advance.
She nods. Understood.
Second, there are mitigating circumstances that you are forgetting. You see us as only as outsiders, not understanding how difficult or different this world is from the one we came from. Once again, I would point out that we did not come here willingly. And as such, you should understand that angels are not native to our realm. So fighting or killing an angel is not considered a crime because they simply return to the heavens no worse for wear. Also, I assume Kenkus aren't native to Ravnica either, which means you know nothing about the history of this proud race. There are many myths surrounding Kenku, but the most prominent is the fact that they were somehow cursed and lost their ability to fly, and have never stopped trying to regain that ability. So when a race of beings like angels, who are known for feeling superior to less divine races, decides to fly around like the angel that Fire the Argh attack did, it makes more sense that he would have such a reaction. While I don't think that being disrespectful to a whole race of people was the angel's intent, their ignorance of how non-native races have been treated still occurred. So coming to Ravnica with its new races, new laws, and massive cityscape would be a lot for anyone to handle on both sides of the argument.
She nods. Understood. You can see Brahm attempting to form an argument against what you said, but his lawyer's like waving him off. If there are no further direct statements to be made regarding the incident, we will move on to the character testimony. There's no more for the prosecution. If you don't have any more, they will move on to part 2.
Yeah, that was all I had.
Yeah. The prosecution doesn't really have much on you. They basically have Brahm's witness statement and the video, and that's what they have. They don't have any character witnesses for you because they don't know you from Adam.
Right.
Hell, they don't even know Adam.
They don't even know
That's
Adam.
true. That's true.
He's a new recruit.
But
But
not his sister wife Eve.
correct. So this is your opportunity to call people to be character witnesses. You can make any arguments that you'd like to make. Everyone here on the right-hand side of the courtroom is here to support you.
Yeah, I assumed that's what they were. Part of that validates my argument, so I'm going to do my argument, and then I would probably like bring them up to validate parts of my argument.
Peridot would want to chime in also with essentially recounting Argh's actions after we were forcibly sent here, and like his altruism of even trying to fly the boat and having it skew it just enough so we didn't die from impact. And like that kind of points to some altruism kind of thing.
I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's enough per se.
Mixed in with everybody else's shit though.
I mean, if you want to come up and be a character witness. Okay, so I'm going to read my argument. So as part of my argument, I'm going to explain what the Enclave on Concilium Umbra, which is the name of our guild, has done and why Fire the Argh is important to that mission. Since we arrived on Ravnica, as a group, we have done thus. Destroyed a group of exiled Simic hybrid, Fire the Argh helped. Took over their lab as a base of operations for us and any other outsiders so they don't have to be imprisoned or in hiding, fearing for their safety. Fire the Argh helped. Rescued civilians for the Rakdos that weren't willingly part of the circus events. Helped the Izzet get back part of their technology and power stations near Tin Street. Participated in and won the Tooth and Claw tournament, killing a wanted criminal from our world in the process. Attempted to stop what appeared to be a gang of guards harassing some goblinoids. While the fight did occur, we as a group not only didn't kill anyone, but also helped prevent Brahm from dying, knowing full well that he could identify us easily. Fire the Argh helped. Helped a group of outsiders under Selesnyan protection from some kind of undead monsters, as well as brainworms that are a weapon used by another criminal from our world. Fire the Argh helped. Willingly surrendered Fire the Argh to the Azorius authorities without a fight. Attempted to garner relations with the Golgari swarm, but decided that interfering with their apparent intra-guild dispute could put innocent people at risk, decided to remain neutral and leave. Attempted to figure out why there was some kind of elemental anomaly in the Ivory Oaks, identifying another victim of the brainworms and some kind of mercenaries being controlled or paid for by previously mentioned criminal. Majorly hampering criminal activities around Tin Street and captured or defeated wanted criminals, aiding the Azorius with the capturing of the culprits or information about where further criminals can be found. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm bringing this up when Fire the Argh was only part of maybe a third of what we have done. So obviously, he can't be that important to our mission. Sorry, it's me trying to read how I meant to say it. So obviously, he couldn't have been that important to our mission. If the Argh wasn't imprisoned, he would have also helped with some of the more recent missions. Fire the Argh is more than just a multicolored, violent, vulgar bird person. He is our multicolored, violent, vulgar bird person. He has been a part of my crew for over 4 years and has been an intricate member of my ship since the day I met him. He is the heart of this group. Sometimes the heart decides to fight perceived injustices the best way they know how. Unadulterated violence. But what is the heart, if not the muscle of passion, ferocity, vigor? Well, what he did was wrong. His heart wasn't in the wrong place. I don't believe he attacked out of some nefarious scheme, but was just caught up in the heat of the moment. And considering how recklessly or cowardly the Boros acted in the heat of the moment, he was far from being the only guilty party. I would also like to point out that if he was such a wild card, do you think that any guild in Ravnica would put this much effort into helping him get released? How many of your official guilds would let him serve his time without fighting or giving him proper representation if he wasn't vital to the inner workings of their mission to serve the people of Ravnica? I believe that overall Fire the Argh should not be perceived as some criminal mastermind that is a threat to Ravnica. Before he was arrested, he was already doing his part to help the citizens of Ravnica. There's a lot of precedence for these crimes, but I feel that Fire the Argh time would be better served to do community service, which is what he was doing before the unfortunate run-in with the Boros Legion. Argument over, and then I would bring up testimonies to validate all of some of those arguments. If I thought about it, I would have brought in possibly that. Well, I mean, we do have reference that about us doing that the Lobies did, or
I was on mute this whole fucking time.
Yeah, I noticed.
So, thank you, Master Nilo. You may be seated. The following character witnesses are available to give testimony should you choose to allow them. You may allow or deny any number of them. Each one will have their own opportunity to speak their mind. All PCs, Gribbus, Relnick, and Threech, Namira and Joseph, Ray Jin, and Terror has also offered to be a character witness if called.
sure. I mean, if I assume, I mean, at least, some of them would be what Gribbus, Relnick, Threech, and Rajin are, representatives of their guilds.
Mhm.
I don't know if technically
Threech is not just a representative of a guild. Threech is a dignitary. So he's like,
right.
His word has some weight.
I mean, I was going to let anybody who wanted to speak on Argh's behalf speak on Argh's behalf.
Yeah. Does Paradel want an opportunity to say something? Other than the, you said that you had some character reference stuff.
Mostly just, it was only going to be his reaction when we first got here, essentially. She hasn't actually been on missions with him for the most part, other than that.
Got it.
If anything, Elkin should have come.
You are also familiar with Fire the Argh for the several years that you were with him.
I mean,
prior.
I can relay shit about when I knew him back on Faerun.
Yeah.
But I am struggling to remember what those things were because we actually played that 4 years ago. So
Yeah, no, that was a long time ago.
Right.
But, there were opportunities to, everybody has an opportunity to speak. We can assume that everybody has something to say, which is fine. Griffiths and Relnick will speak on your intentions. Not necessarily what you have done already, but the things that the guild are attempting to set up. They want to help the economy. They want to help, support social programs, making sure that outsiders are taken care of, helping feed people, helping keep people out of trouble. advocacy, all the things that you've done. Plus they bring up that you haven't,
we've invested in several local businesses.
you have invested in some
That's true.
businesses, and if the Simic Combine did not want you there, they would get rid of you. That's the argument, is that a major part of Ravnica's structure, one of the guilds, is willing to house this up and coming group, which should speak to the character of the group as a whole. Namira and Joseph will speak more specifically to the heroics of Fire the Argh, speaking on his ability to fight against a problem that they couldn't solve on their own, and they were willing to put their life on the line to assist. So they make a character witness, a character testimony on him, specifically stating. Rei-Jin will take the stand, and will testify to the group's efficacy and proclivity for extreme violence, and will assure the court that if the party had wanted everyone dead at that incident, they would for sure be dead.
Paradol had a mini heart attack at the beginning of that statement. Like, okay, let's see where we're going with this.
Which leaves just Terror of the Deep. She's not entirely certain you're even going to allow her to speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
She stands.
I mean, she doesn't have to tell them it's her fault we're here, but
she stands, and she's carrying a book.
I like you fuck him over and I end your life. Bye.
This book, I wish that Thazar was here, because he would recognize the book.
Is it the one she was reading?
Yes.
Yeah.
She passes by you, and takes a seat. Your Honor, I'm here to make a different argument. In my interactions with Fire the Argh, I have found him not to be so much of a person as he is an animal. Now, if he's an animal and he is not a person, you must treat him differently than other outsiders. And she starts thumbing through the book. She's got like the tongue out, like licking and like flipping the pages. Your Honor, if we could refer back to the case of the Senate versus Igor Urklatz, I would like to note that if a pet is left unattended without a leash and causes damage, the most that can happen is a large fine and some community service to be served by that pet's owner. Your Honor, you cannot try Fire the Argh for his crimes. Instead, you must simply treat him as a pet that has gone off leash, and you must therefore return your attention to the owner. She closes the book. She walks back by you, and she smiles and she waves, and she goes and sits back down.
Because she's not trying to help Argh so much as screw Perrin over.
Yeah, I don't think Perrin likes that very much.
She genuinely is trying to help.
You're gonna get our parrot put down.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
She if you at any point, if you look back to her, she's like,
nope.
Nope.
I feel sorry for Fire the Argh.
I'm gonna just like think in my head, be like aim my thought at Paradel, be like, I hate your girlfriend.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Paradel does this. I can't select my token.
Oh, hold on.
I shift over to the other end of the bench. Just like, I just look straight ahead, like.
There you
go. Boop.
She sees you shift over. She's like, "What? I'm trying to help."
I just kind of glared at her, like, really.
I'm gonna put it as she's smarter than her brother, but she's still related to her brother.
Yeah. She's still part of that family. Apparently the only intelligent member is the grandfather.
Oh, she's intelligent. She just doesn't see. She's a tabaxi, and she's related to fish. She's not going to see Fire the Argh as a person. In fact, I honestly don't think she would ever have had any reason to believe he wasn't like a like a pet,
That's fair,
but she did
Still.
make a wholehearted effort to provide you with a defense.
She would have found out the same hard way that Fish would have found out that just because something looks like an animal does not mean you can eat it.
He found out. He fucked around.
He never actually tried to eat Chowda, but
It would have been great.
Chowda would have beat the shit out of him.
She's preening a little bit, but mostly is wondering, like she seems more confused than hurt. Like, why? What did I do?
Oh, I'm 100% doing it to be an asshole at this point, but I don't think her argument's gonna hold a lot of weight. I'm just like,
Yeah.
Ahosa turns her attention back to Perrin. Master Nilo, is any of that accurate?
No, I do not consider him a pet.
Thank you.
I explicitly cross my leg away from.
Passive aggressive.
It's like this hand being the one towards Terror. Like nod to Threech.
We'll throw a wink at him.
You look at Threech, and Threech is like,
All right, too enthusiastic. I'm going for a thing here.
you look over to Threech, and he gives you the enthusiastic wave, and then Rajin directly behind him has like a smile that goes about to here.
But no other bodily anything showing his amusement. Just
No, just a huge smile.
I wink at Rajin, like, yeah, you get it.
He like opens his lips to like a large amount of teeth, and he's just like,
And
and then you see Mimira just kind of shift.
Nope.
After a moment, she kind of like,
She has a whole bunch of teeth too, to be fair.
Yeah, but hers are in a bestial way, not a fucking what the hell is this?
there's something much scarier about him.
And he's not that bad.
But those are the witnesses for your character testimony.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I feel like what I'm doing to defend him is kind of my testimony of character. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get up and say anything.
Fair enough. Okay, so you've had a fair amount of testimony regarding the character of Fire the Argh, as well as the guild as a whole. After a moment, Ahosa asks, the prosecution, do you have any further witnesses or testimony or any evidence that you would like to submit before we continue? They say no. In the defense?
No.
We are now ready to hear your closing statements.
I thought we were gonna argue the charges.
Oh, if you want to argue charges, you can do that.
Yeah, I have. Okay, because I am gonna go through the one that I already kind of pointed out, but that's kind of me pointing it out earlier validates my argument of it now as well. To argue the charges, we have interfering with official Boros activity. Fire the Argh did interfere, but as I stated prior, I believe there are mitigating circumstances such as perceived racism or bullying that is common among persons in authority from where we come from. His interference might not have happened if we were given a proper introduction into your society instead of outright hatred and distrust. All we have learned about Boros is from a basic pamphlet about how they quell conflicts and maintain peace through martial might, which does not sound like a group that uses intellect and compassion to prevent unnecessary violence. A final, and I'm gonna not be able to stop myself from smirking during this. A final point in this charge is that the persons Brahm's group ran into were our diplomatic group. If Brahm's group would like to test their mettle against our martial group, I'm sure something could be arranged with their friends in the Gruul clans. Initiating violence through physical assault. As I said, legally speaking, Fire the Argh did not initiate violence through physical assault. He initiated violence through magical assault, which makes this a false charge and should be removed from the charges. If you would like to file separate charges for a future court case, I will gladly represent him again. But for the purposes of this proceeding, these charges are incorrect. endangerment of Ravnican civilians. While the fight was initiated in a public space, the only persons around when the fight broke out were either Kranko's mob members or Boros Legion, from what I remember anyway. All attacks from our group were either targeted weapon attacks or magical attacks that attacked a specific individual. If we used any area of effect abilities, it would have been a short range centered on the person casting it. If anyone was endangering innocent civilians, it was Brahm as he was throwing lightning bolts around.
Ooh, nice point.
That is my arguments against the charges.
I forgot Brahm's been using lightning.
And I do have my closing, but that's it for my official. I know you're eating and muted.
That's okay. She nods. Master Nilo, I do appreciate the accuracy and the detail to which you have gone to in order to defend Fire the Argh. I will state that there is merit in what you say. I will also state that we act both on the letter and the spirit of the law. So your statement will be noted and taken into consideration upon sentencing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
At which point she opens the floor for closing statements. The defense basically makes the same argument that they did before, that this isn't about your character. This isn't about how good a person is. You know, good people do bad things all the time. That doesn't mean they don't get punished for them. And is basically a plea for the judge to base this on the actions of Fire the Argh during the incident rather than an aggregate. Which brings it to your opportunity to give a closing statement.
Okay. I have presented my case to you the best of my ability and hope that justice will properly be served. I do humbly request that should the court rule against Fire the Argh and decide that he deserves a prison sentence, the court allows me to serve that sentence in his stead. As I'm the leader of the guild, any members caught breaking the laws show failings in my leadership, and as such, I should be the one punished in their place. Thank you, and I'll put my mask back on. You're muted.
That I am. It popped up just as you said it. You are muted. All of the NPCs that came for character witness, including Terror, all like every jaw is like. Terror like looks over to Peridot. Terror looks at Peridot. That was my defense.
What?
Punish him.
Yes, but there's a slight difference, darling, when it's you trying to fuck one over on somebody and somebody doing it out of altruism.
I'm trying to save the bird. Fine, whatever. Don't give me any credit.
Oh, you get credit. You can cash it in later.
I'll think in Paradise. I'll give her credit for being a twat.
I just giggle. I'd respond, but if there's any telepaths nearby, they'll hear it.
Although technically at this point you can't read my mind anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Correct.
Oh, that's right. I can broadcast but not receive.
No, because of the mask I'm wearing.
Oh.
I have advantage against saving throws against scrying, locating, and mind reading effects while wearing the blank white mask. And it is a class feature, not a magical ability.
Correct. Ahosa asks the prosecution if they have anything left to say. They say no. Turns to the defense.
That was it, Your Honor.
Thank you. One moment while I recess. And she lays down and she closes her eyes.
She's taking a nap.
She actually does look like she'd be taking a nap.
Hey, you know what? It's a rough fucking day for a cat bird thing.
Lion, cat.
Yeah, whatever. A lion is a cat, but
Lion,
it's also a bird.
Lion, bird, cat, monster.
Lion is a cat.
Lion, bird, cat.
Shut up. Lion, cat, turtle,
Lion,
whatever.
cat, turtle.
It's this isn't Avatar. There aren't
I know. I was just thinking, is he
there aren't
referencing Avatar?
turtle ducks.
Bear.
They can only be two things. They can only be two things. They can't be three. That's why it's not Avatar.
Yeah, I love the one where they're like, King Boomy has a bear. Wait, you mean an owl bear? This bear?
Yep.
No, just a bear. What is
Weird.
that? Like,
That's so weird.
Brahm moves over to his legal representation, and they're talking over odds of being in their favor and what we're going to ask for, and and the lawyer's like, don't push it.
I already offered you something, buddy.
You overhear something, by the way. In their conversations, you find out that Brahm is on suspension for inappropriate conduct, unbefitting a
Boris,
lawkeeper of Ravnica.
Probably didn't know that ahead of time.
I'm probably the only one who catches it, considering my passive perception.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that you do overhear. Just remember, you're already in trouble. Don't bring too much attention onto yourself. After about 5 minutes of kind of weird, awkward silence, Ahosa stands back up. I have come to a determination.
I'll stand up.
Brahm stands, the lawyers stand.
Everybody stands and I die a little inside.
In regards to the charge of public endangerment, the Senate finds Fire the Argh guilty. On the charge of initiating conflict through physical assault, this court finds Fire the Argh not guilty, with the addendum that there will be an amendment to the law after this case.
People can't. I'm wearing the mask so people can't see the giant shit-eating grin on my face.
In regards to the charge with interfering with official law enforcement efforts, this court finds Fire the Argh guilty. In light of the testimony of our character witnesses, in addition to extra evidence supporting the character and nature of one Brahm, she looks directly at Brahm, and he looks at the floor.
I feel like a lot of the gallery also looks at Brahm like, ooh, what's this?
Yep. There's a whole lot of even everybody but the angels kind of looks over in his direction.
Like the big Paradell and Terror, like in unison, just look at him raise an eyebrow.
If everyone understands the results of these charges, I will move on to sentencing. The defendant, Fire the Argh, is sentenced to time served in the Azorius Senate prison, in addition to a 6,000 gold fine to be paid over the next 5 years, and 1,000 man-hours of community service, which can be served by him or any member of his acting guild. In addition, we require that Fire the Argh complete residency registration and become a citizen of Ravnica, or make every effort possible to vacate this realm and return to his home plane. Are there any questions regarding this sentencing? Brahm stands, and then his lawyer grabs him by the shoulder and sits him back down.
Your Honor, is there any limitations for the community service? Are there specific guidelines in place, or if we all as a guild wanted to bust out and spend a couple weeks we're doing community service to get that time, or is there a limit to how much time can be done in a specific period of time?
Your guild is counted on individual man hours. If 5 of you each complete 200 hours of community service, it will count towards the 1,000 cumulative hours required. You will need to have all hours signed off by an official sanctioned guild representative.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Of our guild or another guild?
A guild of an official sanction.
Yeah,
One of
it
the
is.
big 9.
Gotcha.
One of the big 9 has to sign off on it.
I assumed that's what she meant.
Officer, you may release the defendant. Fire the Argh, you should be very thankful that you have such a supporting community to be a part of. I want you to think very carefully before interacting here and spend every waking moment from here on out attempting to do your very best to support those around you. They've certainly done that for you. And with that, they free fire the Argh, and he is able to come and join you at the table.
So 50 of us could bang out a regular work week.
So we all know exactly what Fire the Argh is going to say, but the second he's released, shit together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The second
100%. Second,
the second
together,
they open
buddy.
that and he's
Shit
able
together.
to step down from the cage or from the cell. Shit together!
shit together. It's a saying. Don't worry. We're not going to defecate.
I like to think instead of Argh being muzzled, they just threw a blanket over the cage.
See, he's there.
It's like one-way glass, so inside it's dark, but we can see through.
One-way fabric, a magic item exclusive to Ravnica.
Nice. I had discussed the possibility of trying to get like community members that we've helped, like outside supporting us.
Oh yeah.
I think I mentioned that.
I'm not sure what you mean. You're gonna have to.
Like I think it's one of those like
Oh,
people
like
showing-
community outcry.
like,
of
yeah,
support?
like people outside in support being like, we, peaceful, but support outside being like, free fire the Argh or whatever. Because we've helped all of the people that we've helped.
There's a ton of them, and then there's one gnomish armorer with like a fuck you type sign.
He's dead.
He's
Is
dead.
it?
Yeah, you
That's
killed
the
him.
gnome we killed.
Oh.
Yeah, we fucking murdered that guy. It's so good.
He was such an asshole anyway.
Such an asshole. I have a speech for all of the people who came to support us outside.
Go ahead.
That's why I'm mentioning it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we put out a
You may want to give it here.
well, this requires people that aren't already members of our guild,
Oh.
because there's kind of also a little
And would not have been admitted to the Senate floor for the
I see. Okay.
because it basically be like the crowd of protesters outside.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
Now-
a map full of protesters for you.
But we'll pretend that exists.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the rest of the the major characters in New Ulvenwald show up. Many of your low-ranking guild members that are not currently on, like the ones that are not currently doing work,
Mhm.
turn up. Some of the people that work in the steam vents,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
they show up. Of course, Threech is there, but he was already there.
Mhm.
But as far as anybody else,
Di-
you can get people from Tin Street. Jim and John will come.
Also,
Yeah,
can you
it's-
just blow up Threech's picture for a second? Because I was telling Seth how accidentally thirst trap it ended up being.
Sure. Hold on.
Because far out, it just looked like a weird tangly fucking tree or something. But
That's it.
yeah,
That's-
it's like his fucking Instagram photo. Like, so
Oh, I kind of see it.
Ladies,
Ladies. Funny.
he's like, I'm funny, but I also make you think, you know? I want
Mhm.
your body, but also your mind. Like,
Yeah, sure.
considering Threech, I believe it, but
Mhm.
yeah, essentially, I think I had mentioned that like the intent was to try to get as many people that
Yeah.
we've helped or supported or
Um,
just try to get people showing up. And then my hope was also that just some random people are like, what are we doing? Like,
one more thing that you notice. I mean, there is a gathering of people like, hey, what's going on? One
I
more
always love
group shows
chanting.
up.
one more what?
One more group shows up. A newly formed labor union from Tin Street.
Goblin Union, baby.
Well, I would
and
assume
others.
that this is also. I would assume Anthrax is there since this is people that are tied to him. Yeah, you don't recognize these goblins, but they showed up and they're big fans.
Yeah, so I'll still wearing the mask. It's just, I only take that off for special occasions.
Sure.
Thank you for supporting us in our time of need. I think justice was served today, and Ahosa and the Azorius made the right decision. That being said, I also feel like something like this could have been prevented if only there was some 10th guild. One that is here to serve the people, whether they are outsiders or natives of Ravnica.
Only there was.
Yeah, of course, come on. Of Ravnica, a gentle hand for people who have been thrown into a strange new world and just want to survive or just want to go back to their home plane. The Enclave on Concilium Umbra can be that guild. We may be new, but we have proven that we care about the people of Ravnica. Unlike the Selesnian Conclave, it was we who went to try to figure out the weather anomalies. It was we who rescued unwilling victims of the Rakdos Circus. It was we who helped take care of criminals and gangs on Tin Street without Azorius's or Boros' help. It was we who stopped Simic Combine exiles from creating unethical monstrosities and gods know what else. It was we that proved ourselves to the Gruul clans. It was we that stopped some cult from destroying Izzet technology and damaging or worse, destroying power stations vital to this fair city. It was we that tried finding a middle ground for the Golgari swarm to talk and reconcile their differences, which hopefully they do so soon before their inner conflict throws the food supply of Ravnica into disarray. It was we that has done all this without the need to sell our souls to the Orzhov. We have done all this while being underfunded and undermanned, yet we have succeeded nonetheless. I know that we still have a long way to go before we prove ourselves to the ungilded, the gilded, and I don't know why I put Niv, and Niv Mezit themselves, but we will not stop trying to help because that's what the people of Ravnica deserve.
When you have the dig at the Orzhov, I just elbow terror in the ribs and be like, quit rolling your eyes.
I told that's why I wasn't worried about that because I was like, I got something for that bitch. Like that was in there before I knew she was coming. By the way, like that was just in there.
She kind of like gives a shrug, like, yeah, they do be like that.
Huzzah!
If I had a cheer track, I would play it for you because you get the.
All right, so thank you for
that's
watching.
bound to win us some new members too.
Right. That's why I was hoping there's just a whole bunch of people. But thank you for watching. This was the court case in defense of Fire the Argh. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And now you get to listen to the outro song. And that's the outro song. Yeah.